my friends, I'm Rick, and this is your seat at the table, and I have little Missy sitting over here somewhere, and Frankie was, yeah, right there. There's Frankie in the background. First time I've got the door to the art room open a little bit, and once again trying to get the Missy integrated with the rest of the house cats. They're all territorial, of course. That's typical of cats, and Missy's lived in this room for the last 6, 7 months. She came in the fall, last summer, so she's been with us a long time. She is twice the cat she used to be. She's a lot more robust. Put some weight on her. She's more or less behaving herself. She's still got some of that orange cat crazy, so she's feisty. And some of the other cats she gets along with, and some she don't, and some she wants to get along with, but it's a trial thing. They're still working it out. Anyway, the idea is to the more opportunity. So this would be the first time that she's been in the room with another cat, and seems to be behaving herself pretty well. And of course, Frankie's missed being in here quite a bit. She's been in with a lot of my earlier videos. Frankie was in. Anyhow, we are looking at the rest of the Nova Games books for science fiction combat book game. Ooh, right now, there's 3 more of these things. There are 3 of these, and I obviously could do a video on all 3, and I debated doing just that, but I don't want to. I don't know. I just don't want to get repetitive, because the material wise, there's not all that much difference inside these things than from each other, mechanical speaking, game rules and things like this. But so we have, in addition to the Locust, the Wasp, and the Shadowhawk, we also have the Rifleman, the base Rifleman, the base Griffin, and the base Warhammer. What we don't have, at least I don't have in the system, is a version of an assault mech. So as far as I know, there's no assault mech in this series. Now, I've never used these at all. I've never sat at a table and played them whatsoever, and so I'm working on trying to understand by reading them what and how you play. And one of y'all that one of you guys, great guys that wanted me to review these things, pointed out kind of how these work, and I've been looking at it at the wrong way. So what you would say is perhaps my pilot is piloting a Warhammer and your pilot is piloting a Griffin, and so what we would do is we would exchange books. So you would have my book for the Warhammer, and I would have your book for the Griffin, and you would pull your actions in there, and then you would tell me what that to put on your card. At least that's how I think you were saying how that worked. So that's it. From that perspective, it makes this thing self-contained. Your only thing you really need to have is some dice and some kind of map. And if in a pinch, have you ever found yourself using a pencil and a map and making, because I used to do that a lot when you didn't have all the tchotchkes and the minis and what have you. You just learn to get by with what you got. It's like dice. I've learned that you can use, your cell phone. You can get dice generators for your cell phone pretty easily. But a deck of cards works great. An ace through a 10, and you've got 1 through 10. There's your D10. Get a pair of them, and now you got a D20 and or a D100, depending on how you choose to add their numbers up. So it's just a perspective of being creative. So you could use a piece of paper and a pencil and mark, this is your mech and this is my mech, and then when your mech moves, we erase this one and mark it here and move it. You can do that, and I think we've all, many of us have done that style of play at some point in our game, in our life. But one of the advantages of this game is the minimal factors. Very little you need. So in theory, you wouldn't even need a map or minis at all. You could just sit in the back of a bus across from each other, and play this game. And in theory, it's unlimited. So what I mean by that is 6 of us could sit down at the table, and 3 on each side, each with our own mech, and that's how it would phase. So you would have your mech and my mech, and then Joe would have his mech, and Jane would have her mech, and so I'm going to turn and fire at Joe, and then I'm going to, and then I'm going to turn back and fire at you, and so we would have to move back and forth between your books a little bit, and deal what we can and can't do with it. But the mechanics are similar, the same. So you're not really limited to space and or convention as you would on a normal on the normal BattleTech tabletop war game. Because if you've ever tried to play a BattleTech war game sans a table, you're in for a challenge. You're in for a challenge, and I have done that in many ways. I've done everything from a blanket on the floor with a bunch of junk under it to represent hills and stuff, and to actually outdoors in a grassy yard. And when I was younger, I'm old now. Laying down on the grass is not happening no more. Not for 4 hours on end to play a game. But when I was 15, 14, that was doable. Then we figured out how to build our own sandbox tables, and then and we would have one. I had one in my mom's attic for years, and we had one out in the barn for years, and so on and so forth. But that was a long time ago. Anyway, so the mechanics of these things are pretty straightforward and simple, and like I said, they tell you to maintain the heat. I really needed to do a picture of one of these pages in color so I can get a better idea because it so much reminds me of the original Battle Force system, and that's one of the reasons that this made so much sense to me right off the bat. And I wondered maybe this wasn't the kernel of the basis for that system for the Battle Force originally, because it sure is very, very, the layout here up here is very iconic to that game system, and the options and mechanics and stuff, that it's just the simplicity of these things, right? Kind of wish I hadn't been able to get some of these when I was younger, when they came out, because it would have been interesting to play. Once again, these things are, if you can get them, they're nice to have. They got some great artwork in them. Like I said, the way they printed out, some of the pages are upside down. I don't know why that is. I think you could probably fix it if you got more time and or more savvy with your printing skills than I am. So maybe you can, maybe you can't. I do have a email link attached to this website or this YouTube channel. So if you want to find that and you want a copy of these things, you shoot me a email, and I'll email you the PDF versions of these things, because they're worth. I think they're nice. They're very nice, and I'm really impressed with the cover art for the era. When you look at the very early BattleTech cover art compared to some of this stuff, this was right up there, the top notch. This is some good material. I don't know if this fellow's still around making artwork, but if he isn't, I'd be that's a pity. Just saying. Excuse me. I'm still tired. I have been so damn tired. It just boggled my brain. We had some pretty severe weather Friday night, and like I said, I was originally scheduled to go out and take care of a place on the west side, or the Perry, way out Perry to Hy-Vee. And I really don't like going to do it. The place is a pain in the ass. It really needs 2 people. It's that problem. It's that big, and it's that big of a problem. And it's so hard to get help scheduled and keep that help scheduled because of our turnaround. The bad weather canceled a number of jobs. The boss isn't going to have our guys go up on the roofs when there's lightning and high winds. That's just suicidal. And then risking the equipment. That was my argument. I told him a long time ago, if I decide the weather's dodgy, I'm not going. I'm not going to risk myself and the equipment, specifically the equipment, because I can't work without it. And so it'll have to get rescheduled, of course. And I did have a job, a couple of hunky jobs Thursday evening I was supposed to go do, but I was, like I said, so damn tired I just didn't go. I chose not to go to them, and I'd already put in a 9-hour day that day, so I went home and then spent the rest of the evening dozing off in my chair. At least that's what it felt like. The weather's not helping, but excuse me, a little bit of depression going on too in a ways. The bills bother me. We're still paying our bills. They're getting paid. We're hanging on, but it's just so tight. It's so tight. There's very little room for error. We had a big problem the other day. The wife's upset, and rightfully so. mom's old cat Squeaky. She's 18, 19 years old, and she's getting to become incontinent and making messes everywhere. And she's getting tired. She does most of the cleaning up, and she's getting tired of it. And I understand that. So I called the vet, and they want $200, over $200 to put her down. $200 to give her an injection so she'll go to sleep. $200. I'll bet you a dime to a dollar the material, the stuff they use, and ain't no $200. Yeah, I know the vets aren't cheap, but come on, it ain't an hour's worth of work. Meanwhile, I don't have $200. I don't have it. If I did, I have a tire on the back of the van that needs replaced. I have one tire left on the van that I have to replace. I've replaced the other three. This is the last one, and it has a slow leak every couple of weeks. I gotta go with air in the tire. It's $160. Meanwhile, the lawn tractor outside has also got a soft tire, and so I need to get it over to the hardware store so they can put a tube in it, and that'll be about $60, $70. Meanwhile, poor Squeaky, she's just skin and bones, and all she thinks about is food and sleeping and crapping everywhere. And what do you do? I'm not the kind of person that could do this myself. I'm not going to do that. And I can't bring myself to, just go abandon her at the ARL either. She spent her whole lifetime with my family. She's entitled to be, us taking care of her when she's gone. And that's not kind of how I was raised to believe. So it's hard. It's hard. So Friday evening was pretty stormy around here, not just outside, but around here too. And I don't have answers sometimes. There's some things I just don't have answers to, right? It's like the laptop, man. That fan spins up, and you can just hear it just spinning and spinning. And I can think of all the cat hair and crap that's jammed in here. And I swear there's a little bulge. There's a little bulge on the right side of the keyboard. The keyboard has this little hump in it that's just noticeable enough that it sticks up. And I've never quite figured out what's going on with that. I don't know if that's because there's a component in there that's just the way that a thing fit, or if they got some kind of problem going. So I pray, hopes and prayers, this thing lasts. I don't know how long it'll be before I can get the money to pay for a replacement. I'm trying to put money back. I'm trying to pay down my credit card. Our Discover card hit, last couple months it actually went over at the end of the month, and they don't like that, and they can jack your interest rates up or other crap up. And I'm already struggling to make the monthly payments. We make the monthly plus a little bit more, but sometimes, like I said, I had the damn Norton come out of nowhere. There was $70 they put on my card I wasn't ready for, and that pushed us over, right? And so I've never been this far in debt with this kind of crap. It's been brutal the last couple of years, and nothing's changed in that aspect. I can't get any more raises financially. I can't get any more raises at work. It's because it'll screw with the public assistance they get for health care. And as it is now, I still have to make a serious adjustment, and I have to get off. I have to do it next month. I keep dragging my feet on it. But it's going to increase my monthly insurance rate by, $160, $150. And I'm going to be paying a lot more money for my so-called health care than the so-called Obamacare than I was before. And the only thing the reason I have to say that is because my wife's on disability, but she still gets like $12,000 a year. And for some wisdom I do not understand, I get penalized for that. So I have to claim her on my taxes, and I have to write in, her income is generated and part of my taxes. Then I have the responsibility of paying taxes on the whole fucking thing. So I'm paying taxes on money she's getting. I shouldn't have to pay taxes for. She wouldn't have to file taxes on them, so why should I? That just seems wrong, and I get penalized for it. And this also covers over to the open marketplace. The problem there is the same thing. So I make 48,000. I make 48,000 or 52,000 last year with overtime. 52,000 with overtime, and you add her 12, that puts us at 64,000. Well, when I told open market, I said I made 52,000 last year. So I'm basing it off of what I made and not what we made as a family unit. This cost me almost $2,000. I owed the IRS $1,900 after the first of the month, after the first of the year, and we filed taxes, and I managed to pay about 700 of that back so far, 800 of it. It's going to take all year to pay that other off, if I can get it paid off in time to just get hit again next spring when tax time comes around, because I haven't, I'm trying to save money on this end and I'm getting screwed on the other end. So I have to figure out a way to get around that. One of my answers to that was, well, my van's finally paid off. Our van got paid off last month, and so we got the title in the mail yesterday. That's $100 a month that I don't have to pay to the credit union until next year, because next year we have to buy another van. Our van's 20 years old, and I'm just being realistic. We've gotten really, really lucky with it mechanically. I don't drive it like a lot of folks do. I mean, really don't. I just 3 blocks up the street to work, so the occasional errand, and then every Friday when we run our groceries and stuff, that's where it gets the mileage. But it's usually low. I put about $40 of gas in it a month. I mean, that's just goes, that's kind of where we're at for that. But that's $100 a month, and then we changed over MediaCom. We dropped the $130 a month internet from MediaCom and got Verizon's little home job. You can get that for $60 a month. So that's half the price of what we were paying for, or damn near half the price of what we were paying for. So between the two, there's $150. That's the difference between what I estimate my healthcare payment each month is going to increase. Really is getting harder and harder to deal with this crap, and so it makes for some less than sleepless nights sometimes. I go to bed exhausted, then I wake up at 4 in the morning and can't go back to sleep. I'm gonna lay there for 2 hours, and then after I lay there for 20-30 minutes and I'm not going back to sleep. I'm getting up. I can't do it. It just drives me crazy. I just get mad because I can't go back. I get frustrated because I can't fall back to sleep, and then I start getting frustrated, and then I get ornery, and that wakes up the other person she doesn't have, and it doesn't make her happy, and so you just get out of bed early, get out even earlier, and sleep even less. So today, this will be my second video for the day, I think. Third video of the day. Yeah, my third one. I was planning on doing another one. I need to do one for my would-be game over here. First off, I just need to sit down and do what I call clean house. You go in at the end of each cycle, the beginning of the next cycle, and I need to go through all my exchange, all my paperwork, make sure everything's added up and all the tallies are made so I know where I'm at, and then go down and write myself a list of what events I want to pursue for the rest of this cycle. Cycle 18, I've already had I've had to rescue my ship that I contracted to go to Trade World. I already had to go pull their butts out of a fire, and then I dealt with the agromechs and got them plugged in. So now I need to do the paperwork side of that to make sure my exchange is taking advantage of that. I need to go through and look at. I know that there was some changeover. I think one of my groups of people finished their training, and so they get to return to the field, and the next batch gets plugged in, and I got to figure out who and what, and so on and so forth. And all that stuff takes time. That could be an hour, 2 hour long damn video, and I'm almost tempted to try to do a live version of it. Well, just broadcast it live while I'm doing it and see how that goes. Don't know if I can do that using this software that I have, this XSplit, whatever the hell you want to call it, that I use right now to do the videos, because it has a way of hijacking crap. It was something I was trying to do, and it made my life hell. Anyway, I think I can do it. I just got to figure out. I got to try. Maybe I'll do it that way. If I can get it on there live. I have done a few live events on the channel way back in the day. I used to do quite a few when I could do them remotely. When they changed the caveats to how many subscribers you need in order to do a remote video, that really sucked, because if you look at some of my earlier videos, obviously I'm sitting in my work truck, I'm sitting at work somewhere, waiting on a customer, that kind of stuff, and I could do a lot of shorter videos for that with that access, which I'm not allowed. I can't do right now with less than 1,000 subscribers, unless they've raised that bar even higher. My understanding was 1,000. It's like the monetization part. It keeps going after. It keeps nagging me. YouTube keeps nagging me about getting that set up. I've been dragging my feet. It's a pain. It's such a pain in the butt to do. It's not that I can't do it. I just find it a pain in the ass. I mean, I got ready for it a couple months ago. I was up at the office and I scanned my driver's license front and back, and emailed it home. So I've got an email version of it, because that's one of those things that a lot of those sites ask for is a copy of your driver's license, so they can prove you or you, kind of thing. And then once it gets set up, that's like I was just joking to the wife earlier. It's not like we're gonna make any money off of it. I mean, we would have to be at, red level subscribers. You need to know, I don't know how many tens of thousands to make any kind of serious money, any kind of reasonable money off of it. And truth is, most of a big chunk of Red's money comes from his patrons, from the members. And that's the key, is that we can have members for the channel, but and I'll set it up for that. But at the end of the day, what does that really gain the members? I mean, I'm not sure exactly what I can offer you guys to be incentive to do that sort of thing, other than my occasional whining and crying and poor me. I mean, I know it's a poor me. I get it. Like I said, this is sometimes the only way I get a chance to voice things that I need to voice. And I'm sorry y'all get to hear it or ignore it as you choose. I mean, it is what it is. That said, a little bit of bitching session there at the end. My bad. I'm sorry. Trying hard not to. Trying to limit that to a specific video, but it's so hard to do because it just is. It's just not me, right? So, like I said, there's 6 in this series that I know of for sure. I've got the 6 PDFs, and they're very nice. And who knows? I mean, in the right players' hands, these are great things. It's almost like it's almost too bad you didn't have the free money, the excess money, to just print off a bunch of these things, staple them together in the booklet form that they're meant to. Give them away. Here's a pair of them. Here's 2 of them. Just give them away to kids and stuff, and say, here's a new game. Learn this. Well, that's not a video game, right? What will you do when the world comes to an end? You can't play your video games and you ain't got no electric power, but you can still play these pen and paper games. Yeah, see? Till next time, I'm Rick. We got Frankie sitting up here cleaning herself. Where you at, Frankie? Where you at? She even on that video? Yeah, right there. Frankie. You got little Missy sitting over there. And it's Sunday. I believe it is the 27th. I believe. I am fixing to go out this evening, and I have a VA hospital. Then I have this restaurant / grocery store / bar called the La Tropicana, and it's 3 trips. That's 8,000 gallon pit, and then the VA is a 1,500, and I'll go out and dump the truck, go out and make 3 trips from the west side of town, from that La Tropicana, and hopefully get done by 3 in the morning. And then I have a bar downtown called AJ's. We only do them once a year. They have a variance because all they do, they don't serve food at all. All they do is have bar water. And so far, the last 6 years I've been doing it, that's pretty much what's been in there is bar water. So once a year, we pump it out. Usually they only want it done on Sundays, and because the bar's closed. So I figure the sewer plant's much closer to downtown than it is the west side, so it should be easy to bounce over. It's 3,000 gallons, so pull a full load, dump the truck, run back, grab a partial, be done hopefully by 5 a.m., come home around 5 or 6 a.m. So I end up shooting for 11, 12-hour day, not including the hour and a half I just spent up there mowing and helping the wife do stuff at the office. So that starts us off for the week, right? My work schedule for the week is saying about 51 hours each. All right. Anyway, Oh yeah, something about this. It's come to my attention recently through a circumventual pathway that I engage in a long tradition of the Midwest of what they call a Midwest goodbye. Where the goodbye is usually 20 minutes after we said we're actually, goodbye. Because I actually ended this video probably 5 or 10 minutes ago. Probably twice. Just saying, sorry. Till next time, I'm Rick. That's Frankie. Little Missy's over here. And I hope you guys have yourself a great weekend. I hope the weather's treating you guys decent out there. It's supposed to be rainy, 70% chance of rain today, so I'm expecting to get wet tonight. But if the storms stay away, because if that wind cranks up, hey, this is going into that fourth rambling ending. Because if the wind kicks up, or more importantly, I start seeing things flying through the air, lightning, I tend to want to call it at that point. I will not stand out in an open parking lot when there's lightning flashing everywhere. That's stupid. I mean, it's just stupid. So until next time,